You're listening to U-Nite Radio. I'm Jenna, and I'm so glad you've joined us today. Do you remember what's in Dr. Bob's examination room? A venomous black mamba snake! Let's hurry and join Piper and Logan to find out what happens next.
And this is a cobra snake, this is a python snake, and this is a rattlesnake. Oh, and this one's a boa constrictor snake.
How many snakes are there?
Only 10 in my book, but there's way more in real life.
Blech.
I know, they look gross, but they're so cool.
Well, at least you're not a scaredy cat of snakes anymore.
No, I'm not a scary cat. And if the future Dr. Piper is scared, God will help.
I love that attitude.
Wait, what about the black mamba? Uncle Mike, what happened to Dr. Bob's black mamba?
Uncle Mike, you said the snake was a black mamba, but we looked for pictures of them on our dad's phone and we only found brown mambas.
Huh? I actually did not know they were brown.
So, was it a brown mamba?
I was sure they were called black mambas. Let me look it up. Oh, I see. So black mambas have brownish skin, but it's called a black mamba because their mouth is black.
Interesting.
Okay, now back to the story. And remember, guys, catching snakes is only for...
Vets and exterminators.
That's right. I do not need a call from your mom and dad because you guys decided to meddle with snakes. But unfortunately, Dr. Bob couldn't call a vet or an exterminator.
Is everyone safe now?
Yes, the patients and their families have been evacuated. All 300 people.
Good. We can't risk anyone getting hurt. Now you go join them.
What about you?
I have to get rid of the snakes. No one will want to come here if they think the hospital's infested with snakes.
You cannot do that by yourself. You need another man to help you.
You're right. There's lots of visitors outside who aren't sick. I'll see if someone can help. Friends, I need help. Can someone help me kill the snake? Please, can someone help me kill the snake? It's too dangerous to catch by myself. Does someone at least have a gun? Please, will no one help me kill the snake?
I'm too old to fight, but you can borrow my cane to kill the snake.
Oh, thank you, sir. This is certainly better than nothing.
And we'll pray for you.
Thank you.
Dr. Foster,
Yes.
one of the neighbors had a spear. Here you go.
Okay. A cane, a spear, and prayer. Okay, Lord, help me. Okay. I can't get too close. It's still in the rafters. If it drops on top of me and bites me, I'm doomed. I can't do this by myself. Someone has to help me. Please, can someone help? I can't do this by myself. Please, anyone.
I'll help you. I'm old. If I die, I know where I'm going.
Thank you, sir, and we'll make sure that won't happen. We need to get the snake out from the rafters and pinned down somehow. Then we can kill it.
Okay, let's do it!
It's almost down.
Quick, the cabinet! Get it behind the cabinet! We can pin it! Ah! Quick, Doctor, the head! Aim for the head!
Ah! There!
You did it!
Finally, it's over. Oh, thank you for protecting us, God.
He did
Yay!
it! Dr. Bob didn't die.
That would have been really sad.
Yeah, well, God protected Dr. Bob.
I would have helped Dr. Bob. I can't believe no one else did anything.
Well, funny you mention that. This story reminded Dr. Bob of an important issue that missionaries face all the time.
Today, church, we have a special visitor. Dr. Robert Foster, a medical missionary, has come all the way from Zambia to be with us. Please welcome him with me.
Thank you. When I was in medical school, I heard a message from Mr. Shank, a missionary representative, about the state of Christians in Africa. There wasn't a doctor for hundreds of miles. Mr. Shank said that the people there got sick, died, and no one cared. I never forgot those words. When I had to fight a black mamba at the hospital, I begged for help from those who were able. No one came except an old man with a cane, but everyone else promised to pray for me. Now, friends, people need to pray, but people also need to go. God uses his people to answer prayer. If God is calling you to go, go. My parents were willing to go. They served in Zambia, and prayed for a missionary doctor, God answered their prayers. Even as a child, I felt God telling me to go. While I studied to be a doctor, I prayed, but I also prepared to go. My son, Stephen, is now training to be a doctor. He prays for us, but he's also ready to go. Friends, are you willing to pray and go where God calls you? And if God isn't calling you to the mission field, will you go by supporting those on the field?
Do I have to be a doctor if I want to be a good news hero and go tell people about Jesus?
Not necessarily. Remember what I said a few days ago. God uses all sorts of people in many different jobs to share the good news of Jesus.
But what if my job isn't super missionary-like? You know what I mean? Dr. Bob could tell people about Jesus because he was a missionary doctor. He had lots of chances to tell people about Jesus.
That's a good question, Logan. Sometimes it can be tricky to find ways to share about Jesus in other jobs. But do you remember something Dr. Bob had to do a lot as a kid, in school and as a doctor?
Homework?
Okay, yeah, but that's not what I was thinking about.
Oh, I know. He had to trust God.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Even when Dr. Bob wasn't a doctor, he had to trust God and rely on his help. Bob still was a good news hero, serving God and sharing about him while he was going to school. Here, there's a verse about that in the Bible that can help us understand it more.
I'll get my Bible. Here you go.
Thanks, Piper. Okay. Philippians 2:13. Logan, can you read it for us?
Sure. Philippians 2:13. For it is God who works in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure.
I don't get it.
This first part of the verse says that it's God who works in you. That reminds us that everyone who believes in Jesus has a job to love and obey God. And the second part, the part that talks about the will and the work for God's good pleasure, reminds us that we won't have to do it alone. God is with you to help you to do the job that he wants you to do.
So, God does that with any job?
Oh, yeah. You can share Jesus no matter where you live, what job you do, or what school you go to. Like my job, for example. I mostly work fixing jobs, which means I get to meet new people and talk to them. I can show people God's love by the way I treat them, how I do my work, and of course, I can tell them about Jesus.
What about veterinarians?
Why do you want to be a veterinarian, Piper?
Because animals are cool.
They are, and who made animals?
God!
Right, and you can show people how awesome God is by showing them all the different snakes and animals he made.
But I'm not sure what I want to be when I grow up.
That's okay, Logan. You don't have to make big choices about that anytime soon. But as you grow up, you can work hard on the things God gives you and be on the lookout for how God can use you in the future.
Even school?
Even school.
Okay, but I'm only doing it for God.
That's a great reason.
Wow, what a great way to wrap up our story on Dr. Bob Foster. Dr. Bob passed away in 2012, but his legacy in Africa lives on. Today, many patients are still being treated at the hospital he built in Mukinge. If you believe in Jesus, you can keep praying for the work Dr. Bob left behind. And as you pray for good news heroes you know about, talk to God about what he wants you to do when you grow up. Ask God to help you share about him in whatever job you do. Thanks for joining U-Nite Radio today for Good News Heroes. Be sure to join Piper, Logan, and Uncle Mike next time as they learn about more Good News Heroes.